While work has never necessarily been fun, recently the grind has been truly grinding us down and terrifyingly trapping us in.
The work is mysterious and important.
As the world of employment has become ever more dire, we've begun to see this fracture between work and life play out on screen in a variety of ways, from the psychological in Severance to the physical in Mickey 17 and beyond. So what do these kinds of stories tell us about the dangers of the total fracturing of our lives for work, and can they give us a map to escape? Work life and regular life have become more and more intertwined to the point that now they're essentially one and the same for many people. There's a societal expectation that your job is the focal point of your life, the well from which you draw both your ability to survive and your sense of self. And over time, this expectation has come packaged with the idea that the work itself should be reward enough. No need for prestige or even the ability to live comfortably. You're just supposed to be happy that you've been given the opportunity to be a part of something.
There's nothing better than a beautiful day at the beach filled with sun, surf, and diligent note-taking.
Damn, you're missing things.
In addition, how intertwined our conceptions of ourselves have come to be with our jobs, many of us are living in very precarious financial realities. According to Bankrate's 2025 survey, more than 2 in 3 people, 69%, would be very or somewhat worried they wouldn't be able to cover their immediate living expenses over the next month if they were to lose a primary source of household income tomorrow, e.g. a job loss. This dovetails into a huge number of people who feel that they can't leave their job, no matter how bad it may be, and this is only getting worse as the job market continues to tumble.
My young girl, is there someone even worthy of that? So let me ask. You will leave this job?
The ability to work from home has undoubtedly been a good thing, giving people more time to do all the other tasks they need to take care of, see their family more, care for their pets, just take 5 seconds to themselves in peace, etc. But it's also been a bit of a double-edged sword in that it's pushed the work is life expectation even further. Now nowhere is safe. Your home is also your office, and work follows you everywhere you go.
It was just like I worked so hard at being this great assistant and making sure she was happy that feels like I might have lost any writing skill I ever had.
Paradise examines this issue through a surprisingly literal framing. These workers become trapped at work because work is all that's left of the world after an apocalyptic event. Xavier, the president's bodyguard, had to come with him when he fled to the bunker. President Cal is by no means a perfect boss, and we're clued into this from the moment we meet him. Xavier enters the Oval Office and upon the president's request begins removing his shoes, only to have the president immediately laugh and make it clear that he was only testing boundaries. But we come to find out that there's an even more dangerous and sinister problem at the top: billionaires. Billionaire Samantha Redmond built the bunker that the group escapes to during the chaos, but she and the other billionaires who have taken refuge there are also the source of so many of the problems. Spoilers for the Paradise finale ahead, skip to this time code if you want to avoid them. Librarian Trent, who we come to find out isn't the real Trent, had his life destroyed by Samantha Redmond and her company. He was working to help build the bunker and came to realize that the entire build site is filled with an arsenic compound that will kill everyone working on the project. But no one at the company cares. The workers aren't seen as important in the grand scheme of things. He's even fired for bringing up the issue to the company. He attempts to alert the world and, believing that the president was responsible, tries to assassinate him. Trent is crushed to find out that his boyfriend Adam, with whom he had been working at the bunker site, is dying from the arsenic poisoning. Trent and Adam's story is a mirror of many people in real life who are put in grave danger in service of profit for someone else. Severance takes a look at this dilemma through the lens of people who split their minds in two in an attempt to restore a feeling of work-life balance. Their innie and outie personalities live totally separate lives, with the innies very literally trapped at work. Both sides of the self are severed from the other, but in the same way this doesn't fix the outies' problems, it also doesn't mean that the innies just become perfect little unquestioning worker bees. Even severed entirely from the outside world and the rest of their lives and memories, the desire for something more, connection, freedom, remains. While the working world is filled with its own share of many issues, we are now also getting squeezed before we even get the job. The job hunt has never been a particularly enjoyable experience, but in recent years it's become something of a nightmare. Between fighting with hundreds or even thousands of other applicants for a single role, to lowball pay, to getting ghosted by potential employers, to straight-up fake posts, even just getting an interview can feel impossible. As Taylor Haynes wrote for Indeed, a 2022 survey from Clarify Capital, a small business loan provider, discovered that 43% of hiring managers kept job listings open, even if they didn't intend to fill the role, to give people the impression that the business was growing or to keep their current employees motivated. Even as it seems like everyone is job hunting, either because they've been laid off or they're currently employed but hoping to jump to a better, more lucrative, or even just safer opportunity, we're made to feel like it's an us problem because the job market isn't that bad. Though if we take a closer look at how those unemployment rates are shared, the truth becomes a little clearer. Well, sure, only 7.1 million people are counted as unemployed, but then there's also all of the groups that are unemployed but excluded from the count, like the 1.5 million people who have been unemployed for more than 27 weeks, and the 4.9 million people who are only able to find part-time employment, and the 5.9 million people who do want a job but are counted as not actively looking because they didn't meet all of the requirements during the survey window. And that's not even to mention the millions of people who do have full-time employment that doesn't pay them enough to live on.
Job hunt is on. This hospital website says I can earn up to $700 and all I have to do is be infected with dengue fever.
So now, with everything seemingly crashing down and so many people unable to find jobs to be miserable at, all of these issues have dovetailed to create not only financial catastrophe, but also a crisis of sense of self for many. If our job is who we are, how we decide our worth, and we can't get one, what does that say about us?
Is this what you always want to do?
No, but I got this job after college and it fit my interest at the time.
Employers can then use this to crush workers even further, forcing people to accept lower pay than they deserve just to get any pay at all, keeping workers around who would otherwise leave because they're afraid they'll never be able to find another job, all the while claiming it's just a matter of putting in the effort and pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps. Mickey 17 shows a pretty extreme version of the lengths people feel they must go to when they run out of options. Mickey and his friend Timo sign up for dangerous work on another planet in the hopes of making ends meet and escaping a guy they owe a lot of money. Mickey is designated as an expendable, a worker whose explicit job is to go into the most dangerous and deadly conditions just to see what happens. And if, or really when, he dies, he can just be cloned, and thus is able to keep working indefinitely.
Well, it's nice knowing you. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow.
When the 18th Mickey is created, even though the 17th Mickey has, unbeknownst to the crew, not actually died, they decide to attempt to share their life. Mickey 18 is significantly angrier and more reactive than Mickey 17, so we get to see how these two very different versions of Mickey handle this dire situation. Though they don't agree on very much, one thing they do see eye to eye on is that this situation has to be stopped. As it feels like everything is contracting, finances, jobs, society, the earth itself, more and more people are beginning to second guess if the grind is even worth it.
It's important because it actually is or because you're saying it is.
According to a recent Talker research poll, 42% of respondents indicated feeling even more stressed than this baseline, with a notable generational divide emerging in the data. Gen Z and millennial participants reported significantly higher current stress levels, 51%, compared to their Gen X and older counterparts, 37%.
This is my chance. This is my boss. I'm sorry, Dad, I have to take this.
While we've been told that just putting in the time and effort will pay off in the end, that's coming to look less and less likely. And even as things continue to tumble and people's entire lives are derailed or even totally destroyed, it seems almost impossible to create real change.
I tried to change it, I tried to stop it, but it's just right in front of their faces.
Most people that saw you on that screen knew calling their congressman wasn't going to do shit. If you get shown a problem but have no idea how to control it, then you just decide to get used to the problem.
These movies and shows about our fractured work lives might not necessarily be optimistic, but they aren't without hope. Season 2 of Severance didn't end with the assurance that escaping the overlords and the grid is possible, but it did make a compelling argument for putting up a fight no matter how impossible it might seem. Check out our full video unpacking the finale of Severance's second season for more on that. Mickey 17's ending is more overtly positive. With the help of his 18th self and his girlfriend Nasha, the company is eventually defeated and the Expendables program is officially ended. It took a lot of suffering and pain and, literally blowing up one of himself, but in the end, they are able to not only find a way out for themselves, but to end the cycle for everyone. Paradise ends on a level between these two, open to the possibility of a brighter tomorrow, but also being realistic about the fact that it's going to be a long road filled with a lot of bad people. While we all begin figuring out our paths towards that better world, it's important that we make sure to take care of ourselves and each other in the present as best we can, too. We can focus on ways to find some level of stability and safety, even if we can't escape bad jobs just yet.
Yeah, I'ma cut corners, and I'ma phone it in. But it'll never be said that Garrett McNeil did not do just enough to not get fired.
And carving out boundaries to keep ourselves sane in the meantime.
Hello, what do you want? You can't have it, goodbye.
And of course, we can't forget to look for the bright spots that are there, that can help us find the power to keep going.
I still have to stop and remind myself why I'm still here. It's about the people who show up here every blessed day.
The continued fracturing of our work lives, regular lives, and the world as we know it certainly feels like a nearly insurmountable problem, but in the end, we can make it through if we work together.
Your so-called boss may own the clock that taunts you from the wall, but my
friends, the hour is yours.
That's the take. Click here to watch a video we think you'll love, or here to check out a whole playlist of awesome content. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. And make sure to subscribe to our Patreon for exclusive new videos.